among any of us, right? If you also have this facility at
No, no, see,
your
I
end.
don't. See, I tell you, I get disturbed because see, I can press any button because my focus is towards training,
Mhm, mhm.
right? So I don't want to get into recording. You can record, right? So Vishal is recording, Ishan is recording this session, right?
Okay. And where is that option to record? Is I mean initiate recording?
You know, there is an option. I think there's a record button. The moment you
No problem.
now see, we are starting with agile estimation techniques. So, guys, we are starting with agile estimation techniques. Now, in agile estimation, we use relative size, right, instead of absolute size. Right? We use relative size instead of absolute size. Now, what is the benefit of using a relative size-based estimation? Right? Let me explain it to you through an example. Right? Can you see three glasses in front of you right now? Guys, can you see three glasses in front of you?
Yes,
Yes,
Pankaj.
Pankaj. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Now, Nitin, tell me one thing. If I ask you to tell me the heights of these three glasses without an inch tape, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will do some guesswork. Yes or no, Nitin? You don't
Yeah,
have any. You will do some guesswork, right? So now
it
tell me
can be.
if I ask the same question to Anushri, Anushri will also do a guesswork, right? If I
Yeah.
ask it to Divya, right, or Vishal, or Ishan, or Neeraj, they will all do their guessworks. Now tell me, the value they are going to tell me will be same or different?
Different.
It can be different.
Highly likely it will be different, right? Because everybody is guesswork. Now tell me, Vishal, is estimating a project almost the same? You have to measure the size, whether it's a duration or cost, right? Without a measuring scale. Is it same or not? Almost same, right? You don't have an inch tape or a measuring scale to measure the duration or estimate of the project, right? Now this is the problem of measuring the project in absolute terms, right? Now I am changing my question, right? This is the smallest glass, right, guys? If the smallest glass is X, Nitin, if the height of the smallest glass is X, right? If I ask you, what is the height of this second glass? Height, I am saying. Tell me, will you say 2x or not?
Yeah.
Easily
It can
2x?
be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Two
Pankaj.
x.
Easily
You're
2x,
correct.
guys.
Near about 2x.
Yeah, and all of you will say 2x. Yes or no?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Pankaj.
because
Yes, yeah,
we have the idea of the
We
I
have
mean
the
the
bench,
height of this small glass, right? So
right? So
we
see,
can judge
see,
again.
see, I have not even measured the small glass. I am
Uh,
saying if the small glass is X, the medium
yeah,
glass is 2x, and
correct.
this one is, sorry, and the third one is,
3x.
right, this one is 3x, right? 3x, right? Now, if somebody tells me what is X, I can easily find the glass, the height of the medium glass and large glass, right? Now, this is called as relative estimation. When you estimate something based on a benchmark, right? What is the benchmark here? Is the small glass a benchmark here or not? Vishal, is the small glass benchmark here or not?
Yes, yes.
Right. So based on the small glass, we have measured the height of medium and large glass. This is called as relative estimation. Now, this is the basic fundamental that we are going to follow in agile estimation techniques, right? Now, let's come to the point. Let's see a real example, right? Now, guys, is this a product backlog or not? Is it a product backlog in front of you? Is it a product backlog or not?
Yes.
Now, this is a product backlog. Now, there are many stories in the product backlog, many requirements in the product backlog. Now, out of all of this requirement, can I pick one requirement about which I'm absolutely clear? Can I pick one requirement about which I'm absolutely clear? Right? Suppose, can I pick this requirement, right? Uh, as a user, as an authorized user, I want to log out, right? Again, rather than I should use the word we. Can we pick one requirement about which we are absolutely clear how much time it will going to take and how much money will we spend to accomplish this requirement? Guys, can I pick one requirement? Can I pick one requirement? Anushri, a very simple requirement about which all of us are clear. Ritesh, can I pick one requirement from it?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course we can pick, but I think again, I mean, in this situation, of course we can pick closer to absolute requirement. We know.
Yeah. So first of all, we pick one. See, again, in any product backlog, if it is properly decomposed, you can easily pick one requirement about which
Right.
you are absolutely clear. Right, Charu? Can we pick one requirement at least about which I'm, because I have to see in relative estimation technique, the first step is benchmarking. And benchmarking has to be done against a requirement about which you are absolutely clear, right? So Charu, can we pick one requirement about which I am absolutely clear?
Yes, sir, we can.
We can, right? So I have taken this requirement as an authorized user. I want to log out. Now we all agree, right, that okay, this requirement is a simple requirement and it can be easily completed within a day, right? It might probably take half a day to develop and half a day to test, right? So completion of this requirement can easily happen in a day, right? And I will call it as one story point. I will call this requirement as one story point or one point, right? Whatever you want to say. Because in the context of Agile, right? So one thing, I'm calling this requirement as one story point, guys, right? And I have I have also equated this one story point with one day of work, right? And also, let's say, it consumes it the ones I can also, since it's a simple requirement, okay, it's a one story point requirement. Let's assume that it will consume $100 in terms of money. So I have done my benchmark. Now what I am going to do, I'll compare every other requirement with this benchmark, right? Suppose I'll start with this. As an authorized user, I want to create a new account, right? Now we will compare creation of new account, right? How long does creation of new account take with this basic logout, right? With this basic functionality. Now, together we found out, right? We discussed, okay, if you have to create a new account, there are a lot of fields, that there's a lot of data to enter. There are some validations also. So it will be around 3 times bigger than the benchmark. As an authorized user, I want to log out, right? There can be some differences of opinion, but again, through regular discussions, it can be sorted out. So I'll tell you how those, if there are differences of opinion in terms of, suppose Ritesh says it is 2 times, right? Nitin says 3 times, or Charu say 4 times, how those confusions can be sorted out through through planning poker technique. We will talk about all of this, right? But first, see, we'll compare every requirement to this, which is easy to do, right? For example, second requirement, as an authorized user, I want to log in, right? This is, now we together found out that, okay, this is similar to the benchmark requirement. This is same as this, it will consume similar amount of effort. So we assigned it 1, right? So we started comparing every other requirement to the benchmark requirement, and we get these numbers, right? For example, fourth requirement, as an authorized user, I want to add a new item so that it appear in the list, is 5 times the benchmark, right? And based on this, how many story points did we get? 30. If I total all these estimates, what is the size? Is it 30 or not? Right? Now tell me 30 story points is equal to how many days based on my benchmark? Because my one story point is a day. So 30 story point is how much?
30 days.
30 days.
Right.
Right? And 30 days, and in terms of money, how much is this? $3,000 because my one day is $100. Yes or no?
Yes, Pankaj.
Now, see, we have estimated the size of the product backlog, right? And we have also estimated the money involved, right? The cost estimates. But again, this will not suffice the purpose. This will not suffice the purpose. We need to have a proper sprint plan based on our estimate. We need to know whether this product backlog will be delivered in 2 sprints, 3 sprints, 4 sprints, right? And what will be the budget or cost estimate every sprint. That is what we want to know. Now, how can we understand that? For that, we have to map the estimate to the capacity planning, right? We have to map the estimates to the capacity planning. Now, how do we do it? See, understand this. Is our 1.1 day of work based on our benchmark? Yes or no? Is our one story point 1 day of work or not? Tell me yes or no. This is what we benchmark, right?
Right.
Now let's compare it to the capacity. Now listen very carefully. If 1 point is 1 day of work and assuming 5 working days in a week, right? Now that means if a full-time worker or a full-time team member work for 10 days, how many points it is equivalent to?
10 point?
10 points, right? But I am taking one full-time member is equal to 8 points per 2 week sprint. 2 week sprint has 10 days, right? I am taking 8 points, not 10 points. Vishal, why I am taking 8 points? See, in 2 weeks, if my 1 day is 1 point, in 2 weeks, I will have 10 points, Vishal.
Yeah, true.
Right? But I am taking 8 points. Tell me, do we all work at 100% productivity?
Yeah.
Or I can take some...
Maybe considering some external
because,
disturbance.
there will be meetings also.
Yeah.
Right? There will be breaks also. So, I have taken 8 points. You can see again, it can be 7 or 9, whatever, based on your environment, right? So let's assume that, I'm taking 80% productivity. Can I say 8 points per 2 week sprint?
Yes.
One full-time member is equal to 8 points. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
tell me one thing. The size of my product backlog is 30. If only one team member is working, right? How many sprints will be required?
4.
4 sprints or not? 30 by...
Yeah, 4
See,
sprints.
See, 1 day of one full-time member is how much? 1 point, almost 1 point. But again, see, since we are taking 80% productivity, one sprint of a one full-time member, right, is 1 2 week sprint of one full-time member is how much? 8 point. Now, to complete 30 point of work, we need around 4 sprints or not? Anushri, is that okay? Anushri, do we need 4 sprints? Charu, do we need 4 sprints or not? Divya? Isha?
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah, 4, right? So are you all okay? Divya, are you okay? Charu, are you okay with this?
Yes, Pankaj.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
You need 4. Now, let me increase the team size. Suppose we have 2 full-time members. 2 full-time members. How many sprints are required? If we have 2 full-time members, 2 full-time members is equal to how much is the capacity per sprint?
16 points.
16.
16 points.
right? So can I say 2 sprints are required?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we say 2 sprints, guys?
Okay, I did order. How come to 16 something? Why not
No.
50?
Nitin, first of all, please be very close to the mic. You're not audible.
Am I audible now, Pankaj?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking like I did not get like how exactly 16 something. Like, why
Yeah.
it can't be
So,
15?
see, if there are 2 full-time members, I have said 1 full-time member is equivalent to 8 points per sprint. So if there are
Okay.
2 full-time members, will they be 16?
Yeah, correct.
16? And the total size is 30. So roughly 2 sprints are required or not?
Okay, all
30
right.
by 16, right?
Yeah, got it.
30 by 16, roughly 2 sprints, right? There's no point in talking in terms of decimals, right? Projects don't
Okay,
fail by decimal values in terms of days, right?
okay,
Now, I am introducing a term called as velocity in front of you, right? Velocity is capacity. Velocity means estimated amount of work completed in one sprint, right? So if there are 2 team members, what is the velocity? Planned velocity, estimated velocity, is it 16 or not?
Yes.
If there are 3 team members, what is the estimated velocity?
24.
24, right? And if there are 3 team members, how many sprints? Roughly 2 sprints,
Yeah.
right? Again, now this is the basic concept, right? I have not yet started planning poker or affinity estimation technique. This is the basic concept behind agile estimation, right? Now, in order to understand the whole concept of relative estimation better, can we do some numericals first?
So Pankaj, before we move into numericals, I always have this, question being asked, and like I'm also struggling with this. So, does PMI says anything about connection between a story point and duration of the day? So, as we are saying, benchmarking is 1 point is equal to 1 day of work.
No. See, one PMI, forget PMI, nobody says. I
Yeah.
did it to simplify.
Yeah.
I
So
did it
can
to
we?
simplify. I see, PMI never says, no, neither PMI says nor agile practices, most of the agile practices do not recommend that. They say you have to benchmark, right? I said benchmark smallest story about which you are absolutely clear, and the story, it is better if you take a story, right, that consumes less than a day time. See, I benchmark my one story as 1 day, but it is not a necessity.
Yeah.
Right? You can benchmark a story of the size 3 days also, 4 days also. The only thing is, as a team, you must agree this story will take 3 days, and you are absolutely clear about that. See, if the benchmark goes wrong, everything goes wrong in agile estimation.
True.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now, see why I would prefer benchmark of 1 day as one story point, because see, if it boils down to a single team, it works fine. Anything works fine, right? 5 or 6. But when you have to aggregate the performance of different teams at a program level, suppose there are 100 teams working in a program, right? Then if you don't have a benchmark, right, like this, it will be very confusing. See, for example, in a program, if one team takes 5 story as a benchmark, right, 5 days as a benchmark, right, for a story, somebody takes somebody else as a benchmark, then it becomes slightly confusing, Vishal. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I will prefer, it's easy if you take smallest story about which all of us are absolutely clear. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. Now, let's do some numericals so that at least we have some grip on the basics, right? Then we'll talk about other estimation methods, right? Can you see the numerical in front of you guys?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. It's a simple numerical. See, in a project, all of the user stories are estimated, and the sum of those estimate is 100 story points. Is that okay? So can I say 100 story points is the size of the product backlog? Right? Is 100 story point the size of the product backlog, guys?
Yeah.
Right. Now, based on the past experience, it is known that team's velocity is 9 story point per 2-week sprint, right? So we can complete 9 story points per sprint, right? Now tell me how many
Sir,
iterations.
you have we were telling the velocity thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, before we start with the numerical, please touch base on the velocity first.
Yeah, velocity means, the capacity. How many story points a team is capable, right, to complete in one sprint, right? So there can be a planned velocity, there can be an actual velocity, right? Now, estimated amount of work the team is going to complete in one sprint is called as velocity.
Story points, isn't the story points the same? How much work will be doing in one?
Yes. So how many story points you are going to complete in one sprint is what? Velocity. Right?
In one sprint?
Yes.
As in the cumulative of all the stories we'll be covering in one sprint is the velocity of the sprint.
Yes.
So story points are like plural and velocity is one for a sprint.
Right. No, velocity, number of story points that we can complete in a sprint. For example, in this question, we are completing how many story points in a sprint? 9 story points, right? That 9 story point is a velocity. Is that okay? So per sprint, you can complete 2 stories or 3 stories or 4 stories, right? You have to, when you talk about velocity, you have to talk in terms of story point associated or the size associated with that, right?
Associated with what?
The stories, right? See, the size associated, a story can be 3 point, a story can be 2 point, a story can be 5 point, right?
Yeah.
The estimated amount of work, right? The number of story points you can complete per sprint is what? Velocity, right? Is that okay?
Can I
Charu?
add something to this, Pankaj?
Sure.
Okay, so velocity is basically is required to understand like how many story points we are covering in each sprint, right? So
The
that
capacity actually.
the
right?
capacity that, yeah. So it helps us to basically track the project that we'll be needing these many sprints to complete our project. So
Yes.
as in this example, we know that we have a backlog of 100 story points, right? And now you can plan like if my team is completing, let's say 9 story points each sprint, which is the velocity of my team. So I can project now how many, so we'll be expecting that every sprint my team will be completing 9 story points only. So based on that, we can project like how long will it take my project to complete. So that's the basically the advantage of having the velocity in the project.
See, Charu, if I simply estimate the product backlog in terms of story point and size, right, I'll not get very useful information. Ultimately, I need to know that to complete a product backlog, how many sprints are required, right? And what is the estimate per sprint? For example, nowadays, many companies are going with agile contracting, right? In agile contracting, for example, there was a project with one of the big 5 consulting, right? They were following agile contract, and in that contract, they were built based on the sprint success. Per sprint, they were built. If the product is accepted, the deliverables are accepted, they were built, right, per sprint. So, in order to convert the estimates into budget and plan, we require velocity. It's a very important matrix. Is that clear, Charu? Guys, velocity is
Something which is like, I mean, I didn't heard of it before. So I'm just trying to anticipate. Can I calculate it that way? I suppose in a sprint, we have got multiple teams working and every team is supposed to do some story points. So in case one team is doing 10 story points, so velocity of that particular team is 10.
Yeah.
and velocity of another team is again 10.
See,
Then maybe we'll have 10 teams, and then it makes to 100 story points of the sprint.
Okay.
I mean, is this understanding correct?
No, this is clear, but again, first we'll discuss about this also. The first thing is, why not we talk about single team only first? Because basics should be understood. Then we'll talk about how it can be aggregated to multiple teams, right? Can we talk first about one team only?
Sure.
Right. See, a single team is capable of completing some stories per sprint or not.
Yes.
Right. That is called as velocity. Right. For example, in this case, the size of the product backlog is 100 story point. Right. This is the total size, and it is only one team, and the team is capable of completing 9 story point per sprint. Right. Now, can you find out number of sprints based on this data?
So actually, velocity is the another terminology of story points only, which we use in the context of sprint.
Velocity is a capacity, number of story points, right? Story point is a unit, right? Story point is a unit, right? And velocity is described in terms of number of story points, right? Let's not confuse. There are two different things. Story point is a unit of measure, right? Right? Relative unit of measure, and number of story points completed is a capacity or a velocity. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So tell me, guys, how many number of sprints would be there in this? How many number of sprints? Ritesh, tell me how many number of sprints will be there in this?
I think B.
Yeah. So it will be 100 by 9 or not?
Yes.
Right. 100 by 9 is roughly 11.
Yes.
Right. So number of sprints here will be 100 divided by 9, which is equal to roughly 11, right?
Yes.
Can I say 11? Is that okay?
Pankaj,
Yes.
I mean, this is the closest answer to this, right? But
Yeah.
still, like, I can see one story point is remaining. So if there are like two options of 11 and 12, which would be the correct one?
I'll tell you, if there is a 11, see, because it is 11 point something, right? If there are two options of 11 or 12, my suggestion would be to go with 12. Right? I would rather go with 12.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? See, if your data is like 11 point something, it's better to take it as 12. Right?
Right.
Charu, is this numerical clear to you? Because it is a basic concept of agile plans. How agile plans are created.
I'm not getting like where you are saying like you can take 12 also.
See, 100 by 9 is how much? Can you calculate 100 by 9? The exact value?
11.11 something. Yeah, 11 point something.
Now tell me, if there is 11.11, right? What is safer to do if you share, suppose, your customer has asked you to tell you about the number of sprints. Will it be safer you to tell that, the project can be completed in 12 sprints or 11 sprints?
Yeah, 12 is the safer side. Yeah.
12. So that's why you can say 12. But there is no option like 12. So the closest answer is 11. We have taken 11 as an answer, right?
Yeah, correct.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Now, Isha, did you get how we have arrived at number of sprints here? Isha?
Yes, Pankaj. Yes,
Right.
yes, Pankaj.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Ashutosh, Neeraj, have you
Yes, Pankaj. Yes.
understood, right?
Yeah.
Right. Again, Divya has understood, right? I hope Ritesh has understood.
Yes, Pankaj.
Perfect.
Yes.
So let's do some more numericals here, right? Because first, this is the very, very basic component of agile estimation, right? So first we understand this part, then we'll go further, right? Now, this is another question, right? Your team is averaging 40 story points per 2-week sprint, right? Or iteration, right? Now, this is the velocity, right? 40 story point per 2-week sprint, right? This is the velocity. They have 200 point worth of functionality left in user story backlog or product backlog. So I don't know the total product backlog size, but at present, 200 point worth of functionality is remaining in the product backlog. Now, how many weeks do you expect it will take until the development is completed, right? So tell me how much, first of all, can you tell me how many sprints are required to complete this 200-point worth of functionality? How many sprints are required?
5.
5 sprints are required,
5.
right? Now, 5 sprints means how many weeks?
10 weeks.
10 weeks, right? So can we say C is the answer, C Charlie?
Yeah.
Right. C Charlie is the answer for this. Right? Now, third question. Your team is committed to delivering 10 story point this iteration.
Sorry, Pankaj, can you go back once? Yeah.
So what is the size of the product backlog, Nitin? Remaining size. 200 worth of size of story points are still left. And what is the capacity? 40. So 200 by 40 is equal to how much? 5. So
Correct.
that means 5 sprints are required.
Yeah, correct.
And each sprint is 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right? So 10 weeks, right?
Okay. 10.
Now, your team is committed to delivering 10 story points this sprint, but it looks like you will only complete 8. Now, what should you do? Please answer it. Your team committed
C.
C. So we all
Charlie,
agree
I guess. Charlie.
complete 8 points and put 2 in the backlog, right? Any work remaining is in the backlog. Absolutely. Now, see, this fourth question is about, right, budgeting, right? How budget is done in Agile. Now, it's a simple question, right? It's question about a company called as Team Alpha, right? Now, Team Alpha's labor cost is 20,000 per month. You can take 1 month as 4 weeks, right? You can take 1 month as 4 weeks. So 20,000 per month is a labor cost. The team will need 10 2-week sprint to complete the project, right? Deployment costs are 5,000. Half the team will be retained for a 1-month warranty period. What do we expect the cost to be from now until the end of warranty period? Now, I have not taken any buffer for contingency here, right? You have to do estimation. Now, I'll give you 3 minutes. Try it yourself. I'm giving you 3 minutes, guys. Try to do estimation for this project. Anyone gotten the answer?
Is it 1,15,000 dollars?
So I think your answer should be correct, right? Can we do it ourselves, guys? Can we do it together?
Yes.
Right. Now tell me what will be the development cost here? What will be the cost of development?
Deployment.
Development, not deployment. To complete the basic project before deployment. Now 10, see, the team will need 10 2-week iteration to complete the project, right? 10 2-week iteration, right? Is it equivalent to 5 months or not? 10 2-week iteration, is it equal to 5 months? Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means 5 into 20,000. Is it a development cost? Is this much the development cost or not? Now, what is the deployment cost? What is the deployment cost, guys?
5,000.
Right? $5,000, right? $5,000. Now, the third category is, warranty cost. What is the warranty cost? Half the team will be retained for a 1-month warranty period, right? See, if I have complete team retained for a warranty period is 20,000, but right, I have only half the team. So what will be the cost of half the team? Will it be 10,000 or not?
Yes.
Right. So what will be the total cost? Sum of all. Will it be equal to $115,000? Will it be the total cost or not? Will it be the final cost estimates or not? Guys, tell me if you have any questions on this. Any questions? Isha, Divya, Charu, are you okay with this? Ritesh?
Yes, Pankaj, got it.
Yes. Yes. Bro.
All
Is
are
it
clear?
special like we have
Pankaj.
Pankaj, I have
Yeah,
one question. Like in warranty period, you have mentioned omitting contingency. So like estimation is always like relative estimation we are doing. So
yeah,
we also have to keep some.
buffer. So, on top of this, I can, because see, in this question, they have asked specifically without contingency, what is the estimate? But, in real estimate, I'll add some contingency of 10, 20%, right? Or 30% depending on the nature of the project, right? Contingency have to be added.
Since
So
they are
buffer.
mentioned over here, that's why we have not considered. Otherwise,
Yeah.
in general, agile we do consider
Yes,
this.
yes. Suppose, it is mentioned that contingency reserves are 10,000. So I'll add that 10,000. Right?
Okay.
How much buffer? Or it is 10% of the total budget. I could take 10% of this, right?
Okay. Got it.
Is that okay? Now, can we practice some more questions on the basics first? Now, some more questions on the basics. Now, look at this diagram. Look at this diagram and tell me in this diagram, what is the planned velocity? What is the planned velocity here? What is the planned velocity? What is the planned velocity in this diagram?
20 points.
20 points, right? Is this the planned velocity? Yes or no?
Yes.
20 points. And that's why, if you sum up these user stories which are taken in the sprint plan, right? 5, 8, right? 13, 14. How many are these?
20.
20, right? 5, 8, 8, 8, 16, 17, 20, right? Now, this is the estimated velocity. But when you did sprint review, right? In sprint review, how much did you complete actually? What is the actual velocity?
16.
16. So can I say we are lagging behind the plan? Can we say, are we lagging behind the plan? We planned for 20, as per the plan, the capacity was 20, but we only completed 16. So can we say my schedule variance is minus 4 points? Or I am
Yes.
lagging behind by 4 points? Can I say this? Yes or no?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. Now, very, very important thing. See, when you calculate actual velocity, when we calculate actual velocity during sprint review, this is a sprint review, right? Where you capture it, actual velocity. See, the progress, the actual story points which are counted are those which have been accepted by the product owner and that have fulfilled definition of done, right? For example, if I say in progress user story 4 is, let's say, 90% done, there is nothing called as 90% or 95%, right? A user story should be either done or not done. Only if it is 100% done, then we'll count it. Otherwise, we'll not count it in the progress. Is that okay? Now, let me show you another example here. The next example. Now, what is the planned velocity here? What is the planned velocity? Is it 26?
Yes.
Right? 26 is the planned velocity. Now, what is the actual velocity?
18.
18. Are we lagging behind?
Yes.
Now, you might have noticed one thing. This user story is almost done. This user story is almost done. But have we taken it in the actual velocity?
No.
Guys, have we taken it in the actual velocity?
No, Pankaj, we have not considered.
We have not considered it. So there is nothing called as almost done. It should be done. Then only it will be taken in the actual velocity. Right? And what is the schedule variance here? -8. Is -8 a schedule variance? Right? And since it's negative, it clearly indicates that we are lagging behind the plan. Is it okay? Is it fine, guys?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right now. Now, can we go back to the techniques, right? So, so far we have learned about the basics. We learned that, in Agile, while doing estimation, benchmarking is the key and the benchmarking has to be correct, right? Now, as I told you, while doing comparison, for example, if I'm comparing, if suppose again, we benchmark this story. Which was the story we benchmarked in our example? We benchmark this story, right?
Log out.
Log out, right? Now tell me, how likely it is that if the story is compared to the first story, creating account, Ritesh, right, will say it is 3 times, right? Ashutosh, or Neeraj says it is 2 times. Isha says it is 5 times, right? How likely it is? Yeah. Is it okay? How likely it is that, you have differences of opinion here, right? Tell me. Vishal, tell me, Vishal might say it is 4 times, Isha might say 3 times, somebody else might say 2 times, right? Can it happen or not? Can it happen?
We are talking about the differences in the estimation, Pankaj?
No. See, for example, I have benchmarked this story as 1, right? Now, while estimating, comparing this story, the first story, right, with this benchmark, as an unauthorized user, I want to create a new account, right? Now, Vishal might say it is 3 times the benchmark, right? Isha might say it should be 5 times the benchmark, right? Charu might say it is 7 times the benchmark. Can it happen or not? Can it happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
It can happen, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, and ultimately, see, if there's a thorough understanding about the requirement, it may not happen. But if there is if people have different view or different levels of understanding about the requirement, it will happen, and it can happen in the team, right? So how these things can be sorted out, right? Let's discuss it. There is an estimation technique called as planning poker. Again, the base will be benchmark and the relative estimation technique only, right? So can we start with the estimation technique, planning poker, right? This planning poker is an estimation technique, right? Now, before we play planning poker, one of the important prerequisite is, I am assuming that you have benchmark, right? Can I assume that you have benchmarked the requirements? You know what does one story mean? So benchmarking has already been done, right? Is that okay? Is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
Right. Now, when we do planning poker, right? Now, first of all, what happens in planning? What is needed in planning poker? What is needed? What is needed? What is needed in planning poker? You need poker cards. Can you see poker cards here? Can you see poker cards here, guys?
Yes.
Now, poker cards have number printed in the form of a Fibonacci, modified Fibonacci sequence. Now, what is the actual Fibonacci sequence? See, you know what is Fibonacci series?
Pankaj not getting exactly.
No.
Please elaborate more.
So, can you see a Fibonacci sequence here? Can you see this number sequence I am writing? Sorry. Now, can you see these numbers, guys?
Yes.
30, 21, 34, and so on. So can you see the sequence of number? What did you notice from this? Nitin, what did you notice in these numbers? What are you noticing in these numbers, Nitin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Some is happening.
So a number is sum of the previous two numbers.
Correct.
Right. Now, this Fibonacci sequence, which I have used in this poker cards, cards contain modified Fibonacci sequence, right? Is it modified Fibonacci sequence or not? Yes or no? Is it a modified Fibonacci sequence? Have I modified this? After 13, it is 20.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
So, we have modified it because, we want to make it simple in terms of calculations, right? I don't want to go into a lot of numbers. So, now, so first of all, a planning poker method requires, right, poker cards, right, which contain, right, numbers in the form of modified Fibonacci sequence, right? Now, why modified Fibonacci sequence or Fibonacci sequence? Why not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Tell me, when I am dealing with estimates, is it worth to take number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Is it worth or not? Because see, if I say a user story is 7 story point or 8 story point, does it make any difference? Not much, right? See, this Fibonacci series sequence can give me wide range of numbers, right, to estimate. Now, you will see how it is helpful. So, first of all, in planning poker, the estimation will be done by team, right? For example, I have taken a team of 4 people here: Ken, Mike, Esther, and Mary. Ken, Mike, Esther, and Mary. These are 4 people, let's say. Now, Would they be from the development team or not? These are estimators. Would they be from the development team or not? Tell me, guys.
Yes.
Right? They will be from development team. Now, each of these will be given a deck of these cards. Each Ken will have his deck of cards. Mike will have his deck of cards. Esther will have his deck of cards. And Mary will have his deck of cards. This is the first thing, right? They all should have these poker cards with them. Now, in the whole planning poker, you need a facilitator, right? Who will facilitate this? Because, you need to have poker cards. You need to have a conference room and environment where this estimation technique can work, right? So, there is a facilitator or a moderator, right? You can have Scrum Master as a facilitator, right? The product owner's presence is must, right? Because, he's the person who will be clarifying the doubts related to any kind of user story. Now, how the whole technique works. The first step is, I'm assuming that benchmarking and everything has already been done, right? From the product backlog. See, the product owner will start discussing about a user story from the product backlog. He'll pick one requirement from the product backlog, right? Now, he will read out that story. Now, again, before the actual estimation will start. Even if you have any doubts related to the requirement, you can clarify with the product owner. You can discuss with each other also, right? Now, once everything is sorted out, the product owner will say, what do you think should we estimate, right, of this user story? Now, when the product owner says, what should be the estimate of the stories to, right? Now, he expects that Ken, Mike, Esther, and Mary should pick one card privately from deck of this poker cards, right? Privately, I am saying. For example, Ken can pick his card privately. Mike can pick his card privately. Esther, his card, whatever he feels that should be the estimate of the user story, right? Now, tell me why. First of all, why privately? Why did the product owner wants Ken, Mike, Esther, and Mary to pick their card privately so that other people can't see? Tell me why the product owner expects Ken, Mike, Esther, and Mary to pick their card privately.
Maybe he doesn't want that somebody gets influenced.
Yes, first is by influenced, right? See, again, what happens, there is something called as bandwagon effect. People always tend to, deviate towards most prominent viewpoint. Does it happen or not?
Yes.
Right? For example, you are influenced, right, by others, right? So in order to avoid that kind of a bias, right? So we, first of all, the product owner says, pick whatever you think is the estimate privately. Now, once they have picked the estimate privately, right? The second step is, now the product owner says, show me your card, right? They have picked their card. When they showed their card, this was the outcome of the first round, right? In the first round, as per Ken, the requirement in the product backlog will take 3 times the benchmark. As per Mike, 8 times the benchmark. As per Esther, 2 times. And as per Mary, 5 times. Now, this difference is inevitable, right? Specifically when there's a difference in the level of understanding on the requirement among team members. Now, what should we do in this case? What should we do? Should there be a discussion among the team member regarding the requirements or not? Should there be a discussion or not? Why Ken feels 3? Why Mike feels 8? Why Esther feels 2? Why Mary feels 5? Should there be a discussion among the team members or not? Divya, what do you think? Should there be a discussion or not?
Yes,
Right.
there should be discussion.
There should be a discussion specifically with the outliers. Now, there are 2 outliers here. Who are the outliers here in this? right? Can I say Esther? Can I say Esther, right? And Mike as outliers? Can I say they are outliers, Esther and Mike? Are these two outliers or not? Because
Yeah.
Esther quoted extremely less and Mike quoted extremely high.
Extremely high, right?
Right. So we'll talk to Esther, let's say, right? Esther said, right, you know, I have done this kind of work before, right? And there are a lot of reusable components that we can use. And probably he might be correct also, right? He might be correct also, but we'll have some inputs of Esther, right? We go to Mike. Mike says, right, this is not as easy as we think. It's not a simple login. We have an integration we have a multi-factor authentication. We have an integration with LDAP server, right? We have to create a test bed. So he will share his understanding. Why did he quote 8? He may or may not be right. But tell me, with such discussion happening between the team members, will there be more clarity on the requirement or not? Will there be more clarity when this kind of discussion will happen in front of product owner? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Now they will have more clarity, right? So what will happen? After their requirements are more clear, they will play a round 2. Generally, the whole data they arrive at consensus in round, sometimes early also, but 3 to 4 rounds they arrive at consensus, right? Now, let's say in round 2, after more clarity, again they followed the same process. They picked their card privately, where the product owner said, show me your card. They show the card. Now, in this case, in the round 2, can you see there is a consensus? The team is arriving at consensus. Can you see this? Right? Is team arriving at consensus or not? Ritesh, are they arriving at consensus during round 2?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes.
They're arriving.
Yes. More closer from the first round.
Right? More closer. Now tell me, in this case, should I go with majority? Should I go with majority?
Yes, you may. I mean, of course, we have.
I'll tell you what. In Agile, it's more about collaboration, right? It's more about assertion, right? See, majority does not rule in Agile, right? For example, if Mary has said 8, you should at least listen to Mary, right? If whatever justification Mary gives for 8 is correct, can Mike and Esther can also switch towards 8, right? If Mary is not able to give any kind of a valid, justifiable reason, then we'll convince her to turn towards 5. Are you getting my point or not?
So that means if until all the members are on the same page, maybe as you said, collaborative, not the majority wise. So we have to keep doing this planning poker. How's it?
Yeah. So we will keep, but again, see, in this case, difference between 5 and 8 is not very big, so it's easy to manage, right? The only thing it becomes challenging is, if you are going round by round, and the differences of opinion are huge, right? For example, in round 1, it was 3, 8, 2, 5. In round 2, it has changed to 7, 5, 8, 16, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting my point?
Okay.
Now, and you are not arriving at a consensus after rounds by round. Now, see, if this is happening, that means either there is a requirement uncertainty or there is a technology uncertainty. Now, if there is a requirement uncertainty or technology uncertainty like this, it's better to stop planning poker. First, get clarity on the requirements, then play planning poker.
Okay.
Is that okay, Ritesh?
Okay.
Right? Because see, before you arrive at planning poker, some base level requirement should be very clear. Plus your your benchmarking should be done.
Yes.
Right? Without benchmarking, you can't even play planning poker.
Right.
Right? So this is in brief about planning poker technique for estimation. Right? If you have any questions, please ask me. Any questions, guys? Any questions on planning poker? No questions? So are you okay with this? Isha, Charu, Divya,
Yes, Pankaj.
you are all okay, right?
Yeah, Pankaj. Okay.
Neeraj, Vishal, are you okay with planning poker technique?
Pankaj, I am fine with the planning poker technique. Just one question. This is not related to planning poker though. While estimating the story, when everybody is giving their viewpoints, like this has to be done, this has to be done, can we note down the whole point which everyone is suggesting in the acceptance criteria to, I mean, can we make it like two-way thing?
Say that again.
What I'm trying to say is, when we are doing the planning poker, the everyone is giving their opinions that this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done. Like in logout, we have to consider the single sign on, we have to consider the authentication system.
But we actually may not require that. See, Mike said, there can be multiple factor authentication, there can be integration with the LDAP server, but the reality is, then product owner will say it's not a banking login, so we simply require a basic level.
We are not talking about the individual opinions. For all those things for which everyone agreed, shall we write the agreement point with consensus?
This can help you to refine the requirements further, right?
Yeah, this is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Do we do that?
We can do that. We can do that.
I mean, I'm just asking on the process. Should we do it? Because that's like saving our time.
Ideally, the base level requirement should be very, very clear before you start playing it, right? But yes, through the discussion also, if some clarity is, because see, almost every day you refine the product backlog, you refine the stories, right?
Yeah.
So not within this technique while doing estimates, but when you go outside, you can do it.
Okay. I mean, the point is that shall we utilize this time when we are doing the planning poker thing to refine the backlog too? I mean, can we do multiple things?
Don't do it here. Note it down, and then you can do it later. But the purpose here is estimation. The benefit of multiple round is you're getting more and more clarity on what you have to do, right?
Okay. The process says that it has to be done differently, though we can note down the points from this part and include it in the next discussion.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question on planning poker?
Pankaj, I'm not getting exactly about this planning poker.
Okay. So what is the thing that I need to elaborate further? Tell me.
Yeah, because still I need to understand maybe later, right?
No, you have to understand. Now tell me, what is the issue? What is the issue?
This technique itself, I'm not getting this planning poker you are talking.
So tell me, how do you perform estimation? Right. See, again, see the background of this estimate technique planning poker is based on Delphi wideband. Have you heard of Delphi wideband?
No.
No. Okay. Now tell me one thing. Suppose I ask. Suppose there are 4 people in your team, right? I ask what is the size of this login screen that you have to build, right? And you have a benchmark, right? What is one story point. Now tell me, if I ask 4 of you, suppose this is Nitin, right? This is somebody else, Rajiv, this is Rahul, right? If they have a clear understanding about the requirement, they all might say 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Yes or no?
Yeah, correct.
But if there is some differences of opinion regarding the requirement, right? You might say 3 times the benchmark. Mike might pick some other card, like let's say 5, right? Esther might pick 8, or Mary might pick 13. Can it happen or not?
Yeah, it can.
Why it was a difference? Why there was a difference? Because there is a difference in the understanding.
Correct.
So that has to be sorted out through discussion or not.
Right.
So you will sit down and clarify the requirements by giving your justification. It might be possible that Nitin is saying 3, but again Mike is saying 8, because Nitin might not be aware of certain requirements which are there in the project.
Correct. You mean like they will sit together? I mean, all these.
Yes. It's a collaborative technique, right? So Mike will say, okay, this required multi-factor authentication also, right?
Okay.
So now Now, suppose this guy is Nitin. Nitin will come to know, oh, this is an additional requirement. So tell me, when they discuss, will they have more clarity on the requirement or not? Right? Once they have more clarity on requirement, right, then the product owner will say, or Scrum Master will say, let's do one more round. Now, if they do round 2, will they have a better estimates or not?
Correct.
This is what we are doing.
After this collaboration, right?
Yeah. So every round we are collaborating. If there's a difference in estimate, we are clarifying. For example, in round 2 also, Mary is different.
It may be possible, like we may require another more round, right?
See, it can go up to 4. Generally, it takes 4 rounds, right?
Okay.
Now, by 4 rounds. For example, in this also we have done 3rd round, right? For example, here Mary is against. Mary is saying 8. So we discuss with Mary, why does she feel 8? If Mary gives a justifiable reason, we all will turn towards 8.
Okay.
Right? If Mary is not able to give justifiable reason, we'll try to convince Mary to turn to 5. Right? Now, but again, Nitin, it might be also likely that, after rounds by rounds we are doing, no consensus. Can it happen or not?
Correct.
So it can only happen when we are not very clear about what to do. So instead of doing round by round, can we first get clarity on the requirement, then start doing this technique or not?
Correct.
Right? So, you have to understand some prerequisites of planning poker. First of all, before you start planning poker, the benchmarking should be completely done.
Correct.
Right? When we say one story point, what does it mean? Right? So you should benchmark one story, right? Secondly, you should have decently good understanding about the requirements. Right? See, some refined understanding can happen, here. But again, but base level understanding should be clear, else you won't be able to play even planning poker, right?
Correct.
So any question about planning poker before we proceed forward, right?
Yeah. Only thing I need to again check, in this Fibonacci series, like in the last we have just one.
Yeah. So, why did we see, this is a standard series. Why we have used 30? Because see, this 8, 13, 20. See, Fibonacci series, give me a very good range of numbers, right? For example, if the size of a user story is 13, ultimately it has to be broken down into 8 and 5, right? See, I could have used 1, 2, 4, multiples of 2 also, instead of Fibonacci series. But, I get a better range of number with Fibonacci series. Is that okay?
Yeah. So why is that difference of this one? I mean, instead of 21, we have just 20
No,
here.
there will be, I'll tell you, the modified Fibonacci series, everything changes, right? We make it simplified. I'll show you a modified series, right? Let me show you. A modified Fibonacci sequence looks like this. Right? 20, 40, 100. Not even 20, in the later items also we make some changes. Is that okay?
No, Pankaj, not getting exactly.
No, see, I have changed the whole, see, to simplify, should we talk about decimals, odd number? I want to make my life simple. So I am not simply following 21 and 34, right? After 21, it was 34, but I have done 40. You don't want to do it, don't do it. Even if you want to follow a normal Fibonacci sequence, you follow that. You follow the one that I wrote. It's okay. You want to follow, Nitin, you want to follow 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 21, 34. You follow it. It does not make any difference.
Okay, fine.
Right. So if planning poker is clear, right, can we start with affinity estimation or t-shirt sizing, which is another technique to estimate?
Sir, is there any upper cap to the story points number?
Say that again.
Is there any upper cap on the story points number that they cannot exceed beyond this point, beyond this?
See, story point numbers will not make any difference. Why? Ultimately, they have to be broken down. Stories have to be decomposed, right?
This is what I'm asking. Is there any upper cap on the user story which we have created, that it cannot go beyond 13, beyond 20, beyond 40?
The epics can be 1,000 also.
No, I'm talking about story points only.
No story points. No, so story
this
points.
User story. Sorry. User story.
A user story, as per definition of ready, should be comfortably done within a sprint, right? And a sprint is 10 days, right? So when you take a story point, when you take a user story within a sprint, what a story of size 8 is sufficient. A lot.
Is there any upper cap with respect to the Scrum?
No. In fact, Scrum does not even, technically Scrum doesn't use the word story point, right? They say simply requirements.
Okay.
Right.
So we can pick any number, but as per rule, there is no.
There is no. Yeah, there is no. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, guys, can we take a short 10 minutes break? Then we'll start with affinity estimation. Can we take a short 10 minutes break?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. Let's take a 10 minute break. Then we'll start with the estimation technique, affinity, right?
Thank you.
Again, in some books, t-shirt sizing and affinity estimations are discussed separately, but by and large, when you say t-shirt sizing or affinity estimation, right, they're same methods. Now, see, if you see what is the meaning of affinity, right? What affinity means similarity, right? See, affinity means similarity, right? Now, can you see small, medium, large, and XL t-shirts here in front of you on the screen? Can you see different t-shirts?
Yes.
Right. I hope I have shared right screen with you. Now tell me, based on a comparison, can you take some of the requirements from the product backlog, right? And based on the comparison, obviously some requirements in the product backlog are small, some are medium, some are large, some are extra large. So can you put requirements across these categories? Small, medium, large, or XL? Can you, right? See, similar requirements, right? The requirements which have similarity can be put under small category, right? Medium category, large, or XL. Can you do it or not? Can you do it, guys? Ritesh, can you do it? Nitin, Ishan, can you do it? Divya, can you do it?
Pankaj, can you please re-explain the...
Because this is important. See,
yes,
some requirements in a product backlog are small, some are medium, some are large, some are XL, right? Some very, very large. Now, see, I have taken this example. This is small, medium, large, right? It does not mean that you can take this only. You can take only small, medium, large. You can take extra small, right? Small, medium, large. Suppose this is a whiteboard, right? In whiteboard, I have created, these columns: small, medium, large, XL, maybe double XL also. Now, and you have a product backlog. Tell me, in a product backlog, will some requirement belongs to any of these categories or not? Some requirements may belong to small, some may belong to medium, some may belong to large, or some may belong to extra large. Will it happen or not?
Yes, we can categorize.
Can we categorize? See, affinity actually means this. Affinity means similarity, right? Categorize or group similar items together, right? Later on, you will see affinity estimation. Affinity techniques can be used for requirement categorization also. They are used in quality also, right? As a very effective problem-solving approach, right? Now, so what are your thoughts, guys? Can we group like this? Charu, can we group like this? Nitin, can we group like this? Vishal, can we group like this or not? Don't look at numbers, please. Assume that these are requirements. Don't look at numbers at all right now. Vishal, can I pick requirements from the product backlog and put under these different categories?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right? Can we do it? And obviously, once they are put in these different categories, can there be some minor differences among within same categories also?
Yes.
It can be, right? So that's why, there's a technique called as triangulation, which is used, right? Now, what is a triangulation technique, right? Now, see, in the small category, I have used a range. Divya, can you see? I have used a range 1 to 3, then medium 5 to 8, 13 to 20, and 40 plus, right? Can you
Yes.
see this? This is called as triangulation. Now, what is triangulation? Let me explain it. Before, again, we'll come back to the screen. But before that, let's understand what is triangulation. Now, this is triangulation. Now, can we compare a requirement with two benchmarks, right? Let's say a small and a large benchmark. For example, if a requirement is exactly similar to small, I can call it 1. If it is exactly same as 8, I can call it 8. But, a requirement can belong to a category, but, a requirement can be very close to the lower benchmark. Let's say if it is very close to lower benchmark, I can say 2, right? Or 3 or 5, depending on where it lies in the range of 1 to 8. So when I compare the estimates of a requirement with two benchmarks, a small and the large one, this is called as triangulation technique. What is this called as? Triangulation. Are you getting the meaning of triangulation? Guys, are you getting the meaning of triangulation? Instead of 1, we have 2 benchmarks, right? See, this is the triangulation technique, right? We are comparing the requirements with 2 benchmarks, a small and a large. Are you getting my point or not? So suppose a requirement is very close to 8, but not same as 8. It is slightly less than 8. Can I take the estimate as 5? Can I take estimates as 5 or not? If a requirement is very close to 8, right? Suppose I have two benchmarks, 1 and 8, and the requirement is very close to 8, but not same as 8, slightly less than 8. Can I take it 5 or 6?
Yes, it can be 5, 6, 7, which is more closer to the other benchmark.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. It can be 5, 6, 7. So again, triangulation means when I'm comparing the requirements with two benchmarks. Now, see, when I do affinity estimation, triangulation is helpful. But because see, though we have theoretically said, group the similar requirements together, but is it so easy to find exactly similar requirements, or there will be some differences? Tell me, will there be some differences or not? Right? So that's why we use triangulation. For example, these yellow stickies are nothing but requirements only. Right? For example, suppose this is requirement number R1, right? This R1 has been put in the small category, but when you compare these requirements, among these also there may be a biggest requirement, right? Like 3, or there will be the smallest requirement 1, right? But there can be a requirement which is neither 1 nor 3, so you have put 2 here, right? So this is how we do t-shirt sizing or affinity estimation. Now, are you getting my point? Vishal, are you understanding what is affinity, how you do affinity estimation or t-shirt sizing? Yes. First of all, you can create groups like small, medium, large, Excel. Now tell me, can you pick some requirements, right? And put under these categories from the product backlog? Can you do it as a team? In a product backlog, you can put, you are always in a position to put requirement under these different categories, yes or no? Now, after you have put requirements under these categories, there will be some differences. Is that okay, guys? Guys, are you getting it? Vishal, are you following it or not?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. So, this is how, then, once you have put these requirements under various categories, you can further refine after comparing them together. Right. Now, see, in order to better understand it, can we play it together? Can we do it together? Can we
Pankaj, just have one question on this. So this this categorization that we did under the t-shirt sizing is to be done individually, or it has to be done with the team?
Group.
No,
As a
group.
See, for example, right, as a group, it's a collaborative technique. For example, suppose Ritesh, you are putting some requirement under medium, right? 8, right? Vishal and Nitin can challenge you, right? And they can, you can have a discussion, right? Then based on the discussion, you can move it here in a different category. So it's not individual, it's a highly collaborative. See, because individually, see, whenever you talk about estimation techniques, individually they won't work. It has to be collaborative. Right?
Okay.
For example, Divya might be putting some requirement in a large category. You can, if you feel it's okay in large, right? You put it in a large, later you can calibrate it also based on triangulation, right? You can further refine it. But if you don't feel that it's large, it should be medium or small, you can always discuss. You can always challenge Divya, right?
Okay.
Pankaj,
yeah.
In my experience, I think the story points that we are mentioning over here is something like that is, contradicting the things, right? That we are giving these story points. So probably we are not looking at these story points. When categorizing, we should just look at the effort required to.
Not effort, not even effort, not just compare them. Just compare them.
Yeah, just compare your relative comparison.
That's why, see what, these are the diagrams I have taken from somewhere, right? But again, that's why I said, let's play it together.
Yeah.
Now tell me, can we do it together, guys?
Yes.
Now tell me who will open the Excel sheet. I'll give you permission of presenter. Who is there to open? Who will open this? I'm making you presenter. Now tell me who will be the presenter. I see who will be coming forward. Ritesh, are you on laptop? Can you open your Excel sheet? I have made, I have given presenter permission to everyone.
Sure.
Right. So you can open the Excel sheet and share, right? Then we'll do it together.
Should I share my screen, Pankaj?
Yeah, obviously, yes. Right. Now in the column A, can you create a product backlog? Just write a product backlog. Just write product backlog on row 1. Backlog, right? Put requirements backlog. Just stretch it. No. Leave it. Not like this. Not like this. Put product backlog full.
Okay.
Now, can you write just for the time being, just like write requirements at R1, R2, R3, R4. No. Go down. Requirements are in the same line. R1, go down, R2, write at least up to 15. Right. Now, from column E onwards, from E column, let's create our affinity, the board for affinity estimation or t-shirt sizing. Can we write E small on E? F is medium, large, extra large. Now see, it can be, it can be extra small also, but it's okay to have 4, right? That's it. Now, can you put some requirements under small, some are medium, large and Excel based on similarity? Can you first put group some requirement, small, medium, large and Excel?
Okay. So
you can group again as a team. Can we group some requirement under small, medium, large and Excel, guys? You can do it yourself. Just do it yourself. Generally, top end of the product backlog will be smaller because we have defined those, right?
We can choose any as of now. Let's have an
As of
example.
now, I choose any. Yes, we need to understand, right? But again, you are doing it yourself, right, as a group in the real-time environment, right? Put all of them under some categories.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, guys, we can always compare the requirements within a particular category, right? For similarity, for the size. See, and can R2 be slightly bigger than R1? Or R3 can be slightly bigger than R2? Can it happen or not?
Possible.
They will not be exactly same, right? Now, can we, to further refine it, can we do some level of triangulation? Right? In the small category, can we put 1 to 3? Range, just go to small and put a range 1 to 3. Bracket 1 to 3. Bracket, make a bracket 1 to 3. Right? Create a range in medium, let's say 5 to 8. Right? In the large, create, let's say, you can create any other range. Or don't create 11 to something, 11 to 17 or whatever. And anything 20 plus, just write large 20 plus.
Okay.
Now let's assume estimation values for. Now can we assume some estimation values from R1? Suppose R1 is fit to be in small category, but the biggest, right? So what should be the estimate for R1? Should I take 3 or 1 if it is on the extreme end? The biggest one. Should I take 3?
3.
So just write R1 bracket 3. In bracket write 3. R1 is 3, right? Suppose R2 is somewhere in the middle. So what should be the value written? 2.
2 should be there.
Right? Suppose R3 is same as the smaller end of this.
1.
Right? So 1. Now you can put the value. Now you can put the values for medium, large, and Excel also.
Eight.
I think you can give 6,
You
7.
can give anything. Now you can put any dummy values because we have to do it. But I think the basic understanding is it clear or not? Now let's add the value, then we'll estimate the size of the product backlog.
Well,
yeah.
15.
Is it okay? 14 days.
Yes.
And here, I think we
you can put any. Yeah, 20, 30, 40. You can stretch the way you want.
Okay.
Some level of we are comparing, right, to requirement to each other, right? If we know R12 is 20 and R130 is at least double of it, you can take 40 also, right?
Yes.
Now we have understanding of the basic concept of benchmarking, so we can do it. See, these are comparative estimation techniques. So, you can't do goof up here because small means they are looking like small in this category, right?
Mm.
So we are comparing. Now tell me what is the total of number of requirements in small? Is it 6?
Yes.
In terms of size, 6. Let's just put 6 here. What is the size in medium? 21? 21. Absolute 21. And what is the size in large? 26, 31, 41, 41, 48, 58. right? What is enlarged? What 48, 78, 180. You can sum of the total, right? Just sum of the total, right? Just do a sum function, right?
Oh, I just write OA, that's it. So
No, just total it. Total, yeah, 6 plus 21 plus VR. So is 203 the size of your product backlog? Is 203 the size of your product backlog? Right? Yes or no?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right? So based on this, we can easily estimate, right, the number of, see, we comparing it with the velocity, we can estimate the number of sprints also, we can arrive at the budget also. Is it okay?
right.
So this is how we do affinity estimation or t-shirt sizing. So any questions on this? Any questions, guys? Now, if you don't have any questions, right? So far, we have done estimation, right? Converting estimation into sprint plan, right? And then we have learned, how to convert everything into a budget, right? Estimates per sprint. Now, can we also learn, right, how the project is tracked in Agile?
Pankaj,
Can we learn? Yeah.
I have a small question. So, I mean, how did we arrive that like stories from product backlog will fall into these particular buckets?
This is what we have to see. Tell me, forget about numbers. First, let's say there are no numbers with us, right?
Yeah.
No numbers are there. In a product backlog, some stories will be small, some will be medium, some will be large, or some will be extra large. Yes or no? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Can we simply, as a group, put them under different categories?
Yes.
Now, obviously, I have put requirement 1, 2, 3 under small category. But tell me, will they be exactly same or some differences will be there?
They'll be, obviously they'll be different from each other, and we'll be comparing. So this is what we'll be doing, right? We'll be comparing like R2 with R1, and then we'll put it in the respective bucket, whether it is like bigger than that or smaller than that, right?
And and there will be mistakes also, right? In the first cycle, it might be possible that you will find one story is very odd. Suppose you have put R5 here, and it looks very odd, right? It's much larger than. Then you will shift it to medium. Those things can also be done.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have written just for the understanding sake in the same sequence, like R1, R2, R3 in the same bucket.
It will not be like this, right? It will not. So just to make it simple, I have written, right?
Okay.
Right? It can be any requirement. See, you are simply picking requirements from the product backlog. You are putting them under various categories, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then you are refining by comparing here. Is that okay? Is that okay or not?
Yeah. And I mean, I also don't understand. Do we really need to add these story points over here? Because I really don't think that would be required.
Right? See, ultimately we have to estimate the size of ultimately we have to estimate the size of the product backlog, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So and this size,
for total size we are measuring. Okay.
So this size has to be converted into what? The time estimate, right? The budget, the cost estimate, and then the size has to be converted into sprint plan.
Right.
Right. So that's why we have to total all of them.
Correct. Yeah. Got it.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Now see, now can we also learn how to track the progress of the project with respect to the plan? I think some of you might have already done some of the techniques. Like today we'll learn two techniques. Today we'll learn two techniques on how to track the progress against the plan. Right. One is a burn-up chart. Another is a burn-down chart. Though there is a third technique also. There are other techniques also. Third one, which is very popular, is cumulative flow diagram. Now see, I'll not be doing cumulative flow diagram today because you don't know Kanban. Right. Now tomorrow we'll start with lean and Kanban, right? So maybe later in subsequent next, not this week, we'll be able to do cumulative flow diagram. Cumulative flow diagram will do subsequent weekend, right? So can we start with the basic chart for tracking the progress of the project? Burn up and burn down.
Sir, one small question. When we are choosing the the approach with which you will be using, like planning poker or the t-shirt sizing, is there any criteria that in this situation this is the better approach, and this situation this is the better approach?
See, I would suggest if you need more refined estimates, right? I would prefer planning poker.
I mean, yeah, this is what even I make out, that while doing the t-shirt sizing, we were just categorizing them in small, large, but not sure how precise we are going on it. Reason being that we are not discussing one story. We are just putting in some buckets, and how much helpful it's
No,
gonna be.
no, actually, but it is helpful. See, I'll tell you why. See, t-shirt sizing is not a one-step process.
Hmm.
As you keep on breaking your bigger stories into smaller stories, you have to refine your affinity estimations also. So it's an iterative process. So, suppose you have done t-shirt sizing at initial product backlog level, you get an estimate. But, as you break your bigger stories into smaller stories, as you refine the product backlog, you can go back to, affinity estimator, and you have to redo it. Right? So it's your choice, because a lot of companies, a lot of organizations prefer t-shirt sizing. Also.
I mean, there must be some, like, I'm sure while we are planning these stories, or while we are estimating the stories, there has to be only one technique which you will be using. That's how it must go, like now.
Yes, see, you can choose one based on your system, based on your environment, based on, see, both the technique will give you a refined estimates. I'll prefer planning poker because it requires a lot of discussion. The way it is carried out, I prefer planning poker, right?
And it is not even influenced. Like we are getting a fair opinion from every member of the team.
It is not influenced.
Planning, we are just making groups of the people, and everybody is like we discussed that somebody with higher role in the organization can give some opinion, and people can get influenced from them.
Often, see, there's the peer pressure is always there, right? So people are often, they tend to shift towards most prominent viewpoint, and some, in every group there can be some people who are influencers, right? And even influencers can be wrong, right? So
since we don't know, since in Agile the whole process is like very unpredictable, and we are not sure on the steps to be followed. So in this scenario, I'm not sure how much it is beneficial.
I would prefer planning poker, but having said this, there are a lot of people who have been using t-shirt sizing very successfully.
Okay. So it depends on organization to organization, which method do you pick?
Yeah.
Or maybe for different sprint, you pick different method.
Yeah. And plus, there are certain unique benefits of t-shirt sizing. For example, at a very large epic level, if you have to estimate, it becomes easy to do with t-shirt sizing. Right? See, for example, at a very large level also you can benchmark using, for example, when the requirements are known to you at a very less level, very, very low level, right? You don't know details of the requirement. Sorry, at a very high level requirements also, you can do affinity estimation. Very high level requirement. You don't know much about the details because it's simply comparison, right? Let me show you one example of, right, affinity estimates at a very high level. Let me see if I am able to open it. Just a second.
Yes, please.
Now see, this is a very high level comparison, right? A t-shirt sizing can be used at this level also. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it is visible.
Right. So, I have created various, I have to, Epic is a very big initiative, right? Now, an Epic can belong to 2 million plus cost range, 1 million to 1.5 million cost range, to 500K to 800, right? Or 250K, $1,000 to 400K. So, you can categorize based on at a very high level also, based on t-shirt sizing, right? For example, this kind of approximate estimation you can't do using planning poker, right?
So
Sometimes,
what I'm trying to say actually, like in triple Excel, like the whole work is being divided into,
no,
for epics we need to
forget,
invest 2 million.
yes,
This is what it is
no,
trying.
see, let's I'll put it differently here. I'll put it totally differently here. Suppose you are managing a program, right? Suppose you are managing a program, right? A program can have multiple related projects, right? And let's say from the program perspective, a project is an epic, right? Some projects that you have are beyond 2 million plus range based on certain factors, right? So, the project level comparison, right? Whether a project should be in the range of a big one or a medium one or a smaller one, you can categorize like this. A very quick categorization can be done. For example, right? Suppose based on historical data, a project like this, you have some benchmark project that fall under 2 million plus category and one to this 1 million to 1.5 million or 500K to 800 or these ranges. Can you, if there's a new project, can you plug it in any of these categories? If based on historical data, you have some reference point for in all of these categories, right? And if a new project comes, can you easily find out whether it belongs to 1 million to 1.5 or 2 million plus for a quick estimation? Can you do it or not?
Okay.
You can do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we will be predicting it like that. If the t-shirt size is like XL, then we can say that as per our previous something, it is falling into the bracket of 1 million to 1.5 million.
Initiative, right? Yes. So you can through t-shirt sizing, you can get ballpark or rough order magnitude also, ballpark estimate also, and you can refine it also. It's an iterative process. Are you getting my point or not?
Yeah, I've got it.
Now, so let's see how we can track the progress against the plan, right? We'll talk about two important information radiators, right? Burnup and burndown chart. Let's see how they work. Now, can you see a burn-up chart on the screen in front of you?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right now, see. First of all, I'll explain you the basics. Right? The x-axis? Can you see the x-axis? Right. These are number of sprints. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are these? The number of sprints. And y-axis is story point. Right. Y-axis is story point. Now, you might be seeing this line. Can you see this line where I'm pointing towards? Initially, it was 352 story points. Then it became 472. Can you see this line, right? which I'm pointing towards?
Yes.
This is the total size of the product backlog, right? This is the total size of the product backlog, right? Which was 352 story points, right? Some new requirements might have been added, so it became 472 story points, or it might increase later also, right? So this is the total size of, in the burnup chart, this line will be the total size of the product backlog. Now, can you see a blue line? Can you see this blue line, dark blue line?
Yes.
Now, this blue line is the plan. This is called as planned burnup. Now tell me, in the second sprint, how many points we are planning to accomplish? 44, then 88, then 132, then 176. Now, based on this, what is our plan? Is our planned velocity 44 or not? Is our planned velocity 44 or not?
Yes.
Right. So we are
that difference, that velocity.
Because see, every sprint, first sprint, I am not assuming that I'll achieve much, right? Suppose nothing. Second sprint onwards, every sprint we are doing 44, 44, 44, right? So this is my plan. And can you see this red line? This red line is my actual after the sprint review. Now tell me, at the end of sprint 2, how much did I accomplish? How many story points did I complete actually? What is my actual velocity at the end of sprint 2?
20
only.
44. So, and at the end of sprint 3, what was my actual?
So, Pankaj, sorry, you mean to say like our plan was 44, but we have
Accomplished
received
only
like
20.
20 only.
Yeah.
Correct.
In the second sprint, by second sprint, how much I have achieved? 36.
36.
But plan was
88.
88, right? So, till sprint 5, tell me, till sprint 5, am I lagging behind the plan or not?
Yes.
Right? I am lagging behind the plan, and somewhere in the sixth sprint, right, I am ahead. Right? After sixth sprint onward, am I ahead or not?
Yes, correct.
Right? I am ahead. Now see, this is a forecast. I'll talk about forecast later. This brown line is a forecast based on my current performance. Now see, the important thing is, what kind of questions come, right, regarding these charts. Now, in the new PMP format, there are questions which are called as hotspot questions, right? And in the hotspot question, what PMI ask you is, they will show you a burn-up chart or a burn-down or any chart, and they will say, highlight the area where project is lagging behind, or highlight the area where the project is ahead of the plan, right? So you will have 1-2 questions like this one, this as well. Is this okay? Is this okay, guys? So are you okay with, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is a burn-up chart. Now, this is a forecast. This brown line is forecast. Now, see, again, this is a forecast done at this point, right? So what it is saying that, if we start accomplishing more than what we have planned, probably by the end of 12th iteration, right, I can achieve 510 story point instead of 484, right? Why? Because I have done forecast. Forecast will change based on my actual performance. For example, if I have done this kind of forecast here, right? If I have done this kind of forecast here, my forecast would have been much lesser. I would have achieved much lesser than 484, right? Which was the plan. So this brown line is a forecast, right? Now, did you get the gist of this burn-up chart? Now, burn-up chart depicts the actual progress, right? Or the actual work accomplished with respect to the planned work. It also depicts the total size of the product backlog, right? You can track the overall progress with respect to product backlog or agile release plan using this burn-up chart. Is that okay? And any kind of such chart is also called as information radiator, right? It can be displayed on agile wall, right? right? And anybody who wants to see the status of the project can look at this information radiator like Burnup chart, right? And this kind of reporting is called as pull-based reporting. This kind of reporting is called as pull-based reporting. Now, why it is called as pull-based reporting, guys? Why this kind of reporting is called as pull-based reporting? Why do we call it as a pull-based reporting, guys?
Because we are pulling the information.
Yeah, we are pulling. See, I'll tell you. In Agile, the expectation is, team sits in a co-located area or a distributed area, whatever. Now, if the team is in distributed area across multiple geographies, this kind of chart will be displayed on LED televisions, right? If the team is co-located, we can use manual flip charts also, right, to display these indicators. Now, this is called as pull-based reporting. Why this is called as pull-based reporting? Because the expectation is whosoever, even the senior management, right, whosoever wants to know the status of the project, nobody will send them on email. They can come down and visit this area where these charts are put, and they can analyze the status of the project. Is that okay? Is that okay, guys?
So, Pankaj, my quick question here, like, till this point, fifth number, after this, what magic happened? Like, we started to get this.
No, see what happens. People, over the period of time, people learn more about the project, right?
Correct.
So obviously, the velocity generally increases over the period of time, right? But this is a dummy chart.
Okay.
Right? It's not an actual situation. So many times, teams have better understanding of the requirement, right? Their expertise also increases, right? So the velocity will definitely become better and better.
Okay, all right.
Is that okay? Now, any question about burn-up chart before we move into burn-down charts? Any questions about burn-up charts? Now, if you're okay, can we move to the burn-down charts now?
Pankaj, one small query I have. So these burn-up charts are at release level only, or we
Preferred.
can...
No. See, a burn-up chart can be used at a sprint level also. No, right? Right? It can be used at a project level and release level also. But they can be used at project level also, right? Release level also, and sprint level also, right? But preferably at project level.
Okay.
Preferably at project and release level. Even sprint level, they work very well. Okay. The only thing is, the second chart, the another chart that we are going to see now is a burn down chart. Burn down chart are preferable at sprint level. There are some limitations of using burn down chart at release and project level. Right. So can we see the burn down charts? Now let's see the burn down charts. Let's see a simple burn down chart. Guys, can you see the simple burn down chart? Let's see this one, right? Let's see this one. Now see, the difference in a burn up and a burn down chart, right? Just like in the burn up chart, you are tracking the work accomplished with respect to plan, right? In burn down chart, you will be tracking work remaining over a period of time, right? Tell me, suppose total work is 40, right? And you complete 10, how much will be the work remaining? 30? 30 or not? See, suppose total work.
What is there on the x-axis?
See, x-axis is number of days of the sprint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a burn down chart. And the y-axis is the total work, right? Suppose the total work is 40 story points, right? Within a sprint, right? Now, this dotted line represents how this work will be accomplished over the whole sprint. Is it okay? Is it okay? And this green one is the actual work remaining.
Come again, Pankaj. I did not get this dotted lines.
Dotted line is how the work will be burned down, right? What is the initial work? 40. Now,
40.
as you perform more and more work remaining will decrease or not?
Correct.
Right? For example, suppose you complete 10 units of work remaining will be 30. Right? On the for example, let me draw it for you. Suppose, right? I'm talking about the plan. Right? This is 30. Now tell me, 30 means, if the work remaining is 30, that means you have done 10 units of work, right? And you have done 10 units of work by 5th day, by 4th day, right? Yes or no? Right? Then you have done another 20 units of work by roughly 8th day, right? So every 4 days you are completing roughly 10 units of work, right? And this is how your plan will go. So you will be able to complete 40 days of work in roughly 16 days, right? Is that okay or not? See, every 4 days I am doing 10 units of work.
Got it.
Now tell me one thing. What is the work remaining after 4th day? What is the work?
Pankaj, initially what was happening here, like this, 10 story points in a 10 day,
Forget about it.
okay, for 4 days only. Okay.
See, a burn down chart is read from top to bottom. Right? What is the total story point? 40 in the product backlog. So after 4 days, how many have been done?
10.
This is a plan, not done. We are supposed
not done 30. Yeah.
30 are remaining. This is a plan right now. We have not done actuals, right? Now, after next 4 days, how many are done? 20. How many are remaining? Half, right? So, and by 16th, we'll complete all of them. See, in a burn down chart, we capture work remaining over a period of time, right? Now, this is a plan. So first of all, is the plan clear to all of you?
But in the graph, we are not getting this like last one.
Which one?
Last one, like
16.
That remaining.
Zero, it's zero. See, every 4 iterations we are doing 10. So, but last 6 on 16th day it should be 0. No work remaining. We have done all the work as per the plan. Yes or no?
No, initially like 4 days. Then after that, there are more days, no?
No, not
more than 4 days.
4 days. 4 into 4 क्या होता है? 16. Every 4 days you are reducing on 10. Can I draw it? Roughly 12th day.
Correct.
Right? And then done. By the end of 12th day, how many we are
finishing this on the 12th of day, right? 12th day, correct?
12th day, no, on the 12th day, 10 are remaining. You have done 30. Are 10 points still remaining or not on the 12th day?
Yeah, now get it.
Right? So on 16th, no, nothing is left. We are done.
Okay, all right, got it. Yeah, fine.
Done. Now, this is the plan. This is the plan. Planned work remaining. But what is this? This is an actual. This is actual. Now tell me, if the actual is above the plan, are we lagging or we are ahead?
We are ahead.
No. How come? See, if this shows ahead or lagging, tell me.
Lagging.
Is it ahead or lagging, these 2 points?
These are lagging, Pankaj.
Lagging. You know, if we are going like this, sorry, if we are going like this, that means fast, right? Yes or no? See, if the actual is above, actual burn down is above the planned burn down, that means delay. This is a delay. Is it ahead or delay? This one. Divya, is it ahead or delay? This is ahead, right?
Yeah, it's more.
So, you know, see, steeper the actual burn down, faster we are. Nitin, are you getting it or not? This is basic math. Huh?
Come again.
I am saying, steeper the burn down, faster we are. Wherever burn down, see, now let's see through the example. I'll get a line. Let me change the colors. Now let's talk about the actual progress, right? At this point, what is the actual work done? How much we have done at this point? Actual work. This is third day. On third day, or sorry, second day. On second day, how much work has been, how much work is remaining?
35.
Roughly, yes. Roughly, you can say, yeah, 35 is remaining, right? 5 done. But tell me, what was the plan? Plan was this much. As per the plan, work remaining was what? Around 30. See, this is, you know, if it's 38, see, this is around 38, not 35, right?
Yeah, 37. Yeah.
37 or so, right? This can be the work remaining, right? On second day, in actually 37, right? But as per the plan, how much was this? Right? This is the plan. This is the plan, right? So this is the plan. So as per the plan, how much is this? If I draw a line here, this is the plan. As per the plan, how much is the work remaining? Roughly 35.
Yeah.
So am I lagging behind or ahead?
Yes, lagging.
Lagging, right? So, you know, wherever you see the actual burnup, right, is over the planned burnup, it's a delay, because, you know, such questions will come in the exam as a hotspot question. They will show you a burnup or a burn down chart. For example, they will ask you in this burn down chart, highlight the area where the project is ahead of the plan. So you can highlight this area. This area when the project is right behind the when the progress is behind the plan, right? Now sometimes they will also ask sometimes they give you a burn down like this, right? Tell me if there's a burn down like this. I'm just showing you if there's a burn down like this, right? Then this, right? And then this, and they ask you highlight the area where there is no progress. They will ask you highlight the area where there is no progress. Then which area will you highlight?
Middle one.
The middle one, right?
Yeah, middle straight one.
Yeah, the straight one, there is no progress. So many times they ask you this also. These are hotspot questions in the exam.
So, sir, when you say we have to highlight it, it's a multiple choice question or
No. They will give you a tool. There is a tool there, right?
okay.
You have to simply press a button over there. So when you press a button on the right area, it gets highlighted by default.
Okay.
So such questions are not multiple choice questions, right? These are hotspot questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
Right. So all these are information radiators, burn up charts and right burn down charts. Now you might have noticed one thing, you know, these burn down charts can be very handy at sprint level, but do you see some limitations here at project level? At project level, when you have to display burn down chart, do you see some limitations?
they are only talking about the sprint, how much work is left and how much is done within a sprint. But for project, I'm not sure if they are giving the relevant information.
Tell me, what will be the challenges of if I use this kind of a burn down chart? If I use this kind of a burn down chart at project level, what will be the challenges? See, is there any mechanism to show total work? Even if the total work can be shown, how the change request will be handled? See, the project progress, see, suppose I'm using it at project level. At project level, there will be change requests also, right? So, the total scope of work may go like this, right? Sometimes, this, right? It will increase, then step, then increase, right? Will it happen or not? When this happen, your burn down chart may, go like this. And then, since there's a change in the scope of work, it may go like this and then come back. Yes or no? If there's a change in scope of work, will it impact the burn down? Yes or no? Tell me if there's a change in the scope of work at a project level, not at a sprint level. Sprint level, this is perfect. But at a project level, how will you distinguish whether the slow pace of a burn down chart is because of quality issue or a change request?
Pankaj, can we even make that thing possible? I mean,
very difficult.
We have got story points only to tell. In case a story is like reducing or increasing, the correct mark where we are the purple line, which is like defining how the right path to be taken, that will also change. So is it even possible to draw burn down charts at project level?
See, this line can be right. This line can be a stepwise line, like zigzag line like this. You can try, but yes, it is not feasible. You can try, but I don't think yes, you're right. There will be a lot of challenges like this. The plan will change. Then the actual progress, whether the burn down is when the if the actual progress is because of change, if there's a change in the size of the product backlog, the burn down will go less steeper, right? And many times you will not come to know whether it is because of the performance issue or because of the change request or any changes in the requirement or new requirements, right? So this kind of problem will be there. So that's why a burn-up chart is preferable at a project level, right? Though it can be used at sprint level also, but this kind of burn down chart is usually used at only sprint level, right? This kind of burn down is preferably used at sprint level only. Now, yes, but having said this, you can use burn down at a release level also and project level also, but like this, right? I'll show you a slightly different version, right, of a burn down chart, right? Let me show you a slightly different version. Sorry, I'm showing you a different version of the chart. Just a second. Now, can you see this version of a burn down chart? Guys, can you see this version?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah. Now, look at this. What is the initial number of items what is the size of the initial product backlog?
100.
At the end of sprint 2,
80.
80, right? 20 at the sprint. And suppose 20, 20, you're accomplishing 20 every sprint. What is the size of the product backlog at the end of sprint 3?
60.
60. Now in the sprint 4, you have accomplished 20, but there were 4 story points. There were some 18 story points added. So anything which is added in terms of new requirement will be shown through this red area, right? A different area. Similarly, in sprint 5th, you accomplished, I think, more than 20, and some new requirements have been added. So any new requirement added can be, shown like this through a different color. So, this is how you can use burn down at a release level also. Is that okay? Is that okay, guys?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. So we have done burn up charts and we have done burn down charts. Any questions? Any questions about burn up charts and burn down charts?
Burnup, I have one, these two charts. My question is, Pankaj, who is the custodian or maybe creator?
Team.
As a team only. Okay.
Development teams, because these charts have to be updated on a regular basis. For example, burn down chart has to be updated on daily basis, right?
Right.
So the team is the one who can do it properly.
Okay.
Is that okay, guys? So any questions? Any further questions on burn up charts and burn down charts? And you understand why they are called as pull-based reporting mechanism? Why it is pull-based? Because people, these are information radiators. You will not be sending them over email. They will be displayed in the team area. Whosoever wants to see the status can come down and see the status, right? Is that okay?
Pankaj, both of them are pull-based, right?
Both of them are?
Pull-based, right?
Yes, any information radiator, right, in Agile is pull-based. In fact, even product backlog is an information radiator, right? And tomorrow you are going to see Kanban boards. They're also information radiators, right?
Yeah.
So, right, that's all we have for today, right? And tomorrow we are going to start with Lean and Kanban, right? We have covered the basics of Scrum, right? From tomorrow, we'll start with Lean and Kanban, right? And from the subsequent week, right, we'll spend around half an hour every session on PMP cloned questions given by PMI, because by then you have a decent knowledge of Agile also. So we'll start practicing exam questions also for half an hour, right? So shall I wrap up the session now? Right? And tomorrow we will catch up at the same time, 9:30 a.m. Right? Your voice is not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, absolutely.
You sent 2 case studies of Agile 2 on the group.
Yes, we'll do it.
When are we going to pick that?
First, let's do Lean and Kanban, right? So that we have idea about all of them, and then we'll.
Okay.
Right? Because see, case study remains the same, right? One is on Lean Kanban. The same, will follow on Lean Kanban, and same will follow on Agile. Scrum also, right? So the case study, I have already shared with you. It was one case study. Actually, other one was a business case, which we have already done. In the Agile case study, please go through it. It is about a travel portal, right? Now, what we have to do is we have to create a product backlog, right? We have to prioritize that the product backlog. We have to do estimations of the product backlog, right? And then we have to come out with a sprint plan, right? And the budget. Is it fine? So we are wrapping up the session here, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day to all of you. We'll catch up.